Hello YouTube! Welcome to another Swiss Army knife workshop video. In this series I show you maintenance and customization tricks for your Swiss Army knife. This video will be a bit different because in this video I don't show you a trick. In this video I will show you a very unique project. I will try to rebuild such a soldier knife model 1961 completely out of wood. That means I will try to redo all parts like springs, liners, scales and the tools out of different kind of wood and assemble them together to a completely wooden Swiss Army knife model. Now maybe you ask yourself, what is a wooden Swiss Army knife model good for? And to be honest, I don't have a good answer on this question because a completely wooden Swiss Army knife can't really cut something, can't complete another task. Nevertheless, a wooden Swiss Army knife holds a certain fascination for me. The reason for that is that I'm sure that the completely wooden Swiss Army knife will look fantastic. And the second reason is that I'm quite sure that you can learn a lot about the mechanical working principle of such a knife. And the challenge of working so precisely that I hold a functional model in my hand after assembling triggers me too. And last but not least, to assemble such a wooden Swiss Army knife will be a great experience. The idea for such a wooden Swiss Army knife I got from my friend Thomas Puzzi. On his website holzsackmesser.com you will find countless custom-made wooden Swiss Army knife scales in all different sizes for all different models in 1000 variations. And you can also find completely wooden Swiss Army knives exactly as we craft together right now. Please keep in mind that such a completely wooden Swiss Army knife is not intended as children's toy. For that, these models are much too fragile. The link to Thomas' website you'll find here and in the description box below. Now I would say let's start with our project. I want to show to you two different ways how you can craft such a wooden Swiss Army knife. The first way is the manual way with the bandsaw and the belt grinder or another sanding tool. The second way is the digital way with my laser. First I will explain you the manual way. But the first step on both ways is the same. The first step for both ways was to disassemble the knife. In this case, this is the soldier knife model 1961. I chose this because this model has just 4 tools and it should be not that difficult to copy all these parts with wood. So I disassembled this knife some weeks ago. Sadly I forgot to film that, but I'll show you now theoretically how I made this. The first step is to put the knife on a stable base like this. Then I take the punch and make a mark in the center of the rivet head like this. Make it on all 3 rivet heads. Then I went to the drilling machine and started to drill out the 2 rivet heads. On this side with a 2.5mm drill and the center rivet with a 2mm drill. After that I made such a base and then I took the smallest punch I have and started to hammer out the rivet. That worked quite well. After that I put the parts on my printer and print out the scan like this. My idea is to make the different parts out of different wood. Here the springs I want to make out of bamboo, because bamboo is very hard but flexible. This is maple and the red wood I don't know, but I like the red color for the scales and for the liner. So all these parts I cut it with the bandsaw on a thickness of a bit more than 3 millimeters, and with the belt grinder I made them flat. Now I will use adhesive spray to glue the printed out parts on the selected piece of wood. So this is done. Now I will cut out the parts with the bandsaw. Right now I decided that I will do the holes first, and I will do that with this 2 millimeter drill, because I will use these 2 millimeter wooden toothpicks as reed. So first I make the center holes, the center marks with this punch. So these are the parts after the bandsaw, and now I have to do the fine work, and I do this with my belt grinder with disc, and the rest I will do with the mini drill and with the needle files. So the next step is to craft the tapers from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, and from here to here, that the tools has enough place if you fold them in the same layer. So the next step is to remove the paper layer on the tools and on the springs and on the scales. So now I have to do some fine work. As you can see, the reamer has this edge here. So, and that's why I have to glue on a little piece of wood like this here, so that I get this edge. So this is done. After some detail work with nail files and sandpaper, I treat now the parts with beeswax, and after I can start to assemble them. So now I think I can start with assembling. I have to turn the spring like this. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Look at this. So now on the next layer, I actually had to put this washer over the remo, but I don't do this because on my wooden Swiss Army knife is something different. The thing is, the liner in the middle between the two layers is in real much thinner than the liner I have here. Can you see that? So, and I try to align the big blade like this, that it comes to stay over this liner. So this liner made me enough space that I can assemble the knife without this washer. I will show you now. Next step is the blade like this and the reamer like this. So, and the position of the spring I have to try out. I'm not sure. I think like this, but I'm not sure. So, yeah, that looks well. Yes, that's amazing. Look at this. Perfect. Now I cover this layer with the scale. So, now, yes, I would say almost perfect. Look at this. How cool is this? I like it. And now I want to show to you a second way how you can craft a wooden Swiss Army knife. And this time I will use 3mm plywood and my laser. With the free software Inkscape, it's really easy to trace the outlines of the parts and define the centers of the holes. I learned that in about half an hour from some YouTube videos. You can also find the contour of the parts on the scan from AI, but I had the better results when I made it manually. If you are finished with this work, you can export the file as an SUV vector file and import it directly to your laser software. In my case, this is the LaserPacker Design Space software. There I had to define the final size and the laser datas for the cutting out process. Here are my laser datas for this project in 3mm plywood. The link where you can download this whole file you will find in the description box below. Now I have to do the same remaining steps like on the first model to complete the knife. This is enlarge the holes for the 2mm toothpicks, which I use as a rivet. I have to sand the tapers from the tools. I have to glue on a little piece of wood for the 3-dimensional edge from the reamer, and I have to treat the wood with beeswax. If this is done, I can start to assemble the knife. So my friends, now both models are done. This is the manual model with massive wood, and this is the machinal model I made with my laser out of plywood. Of course, both ways has advantages and disadvantages. So the one with the laser is super precise, and if you want to make more than one knife, you are super fast. But to track the outline of the different parts, I had to learn a new software. And the manual one, you need a lot of time and you have to work super precise that the Swiss Army knife model works at the end. But you don't need an expensive machine and software. Regarding the material, I would recommend to work with solid wood, with massive wood, because the springs on plywood has almost no force. So if you want to have these snap-in clicks, you have to work with solid wood. I would say plywood is good for the first tests, but after I will change to massive wood. So my friends, that's it for today. And hey, I had so much fun to craft such a completely wooden Swiss Army knife that I would recommend to try it out. Right now, in this time of the year, I have so many workshops and other projects that it can take 4 weeks or more until my next video. But I promise I will be back as soon as possible. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and see you on the next video. Ciao!